Hi there, and thanks for joining me. I'm Anna Pirelli. Today I'm going to share with you a powerful healing tool that I developed many years ago. The good news is you don't need to be spiritual, psychic, or religious to benefit from this tool, and you can adapt it to suit your own purposes because your comfort is the most important thing here. And before we talk about the tool, of course, and how we can use it, I have to first outline the disclaimer. So, everything that you see on this channel is not designed to replace professional guidance or opinion, including health and mental health. If you're currently being treated by a professional in any capacity, um, please ensure that you continue to follow their advice. The content that I upload is based on my own personal or professional beliefs and it's in my intellectual property. So please do refer to the terms of use on my website and the channel. The images and content of this tool is my intellectual property also, and please acknowledge me when using or sharing. Thank you. So, all of us have been influenced by somebody along the way, at least one person. In my instance, and in regard to this particular tool, the contributors that I feel that I should acknowledge just for good morality, if nothing else, is Ambika Waters. It was her affirmations that I used in the first tool that I designed. Florence Scovel Shin taught me through reading her works the power of the word and affirmations, and Shakti Gawain has been an influencer for a long time. And in regard to the music, I must acknowledge the Solfeggio binaural beats creators. I'm not sure who they are, but it's copyright free material and they have their own YouTube channel. To keep you interested and validate this tool a little bit, I'm going to give you the backstory about why it was created, how it was created, and how long it took to work. And basically, by doing the things that I've done, it actually took 3.5 weeks for me to get on top of the problems in my life. But anyway, so the story goes that I was completely overwhelmed. I was struggling to hold on to faith. I had so many things going wrong, even though I had an understanding of universal energy and theoretically was a spiritual person. I was actually at the point of having a crisis of faith. I had hit rock bottom. I literally had hit the wall. I'd had relationships end with acrimony, didn't understand why. Consequently, I had to move house and I was experiencing a housing crisis and I'd left a job as well. So I created this tool at a point when I was absolutely desperate and I'd been offered to mind my brother's house while he and his wife travelled overseas. Otherwise, I think I would have been homeless. Cash was at an all time low, and I knew that I would need money if I was to secure accommodation going forward, and I needed to look for work. You know what I mean? While dealing with all this huge emotional turbulence that was happening around family relationships. And I was very, very oversensitive at the time, both romantically and within the family unit, there'd been the breakdowns. So, what I did was I realized that I did have the information in me. I knew how to address some of the energetic challenges, but I also knew that I needed basically a crisis remedy and I was struggling to dig deep. So, what I did was I decided to put it all together on the one tool and work with it so that I could keep my energy clear. So, because I wasn't working, I obviously had a bit of time on my hands as well. So I stuck to a clear plan. I would get up and I would job hunt each day for an hour or so, and that might mean doing CVs or taking phone calls. And then I would let it go. I followed that logic and rationale that says do what you can and then hand it over the universe and get out of the way. All right. From there, I would then busy myself with meditation or jumping on an exercise bike for about half an hour at a time, so that I could be open to receiving my intuitive guidance for my next moves. And I also recognize that anxiety and worry actually block the manifestation process. So I was pretty diligent about trying to keep my personal energy levels calm and peaceful. Every single time I felt myself start to worry or stress, or a doubtful thought popped into my head that, oh my God, will it happen? I would run back to the tool and I would do it again. Initially, when I started doing the tool, it took me about 25 minutes, you may as well say, for a full run because you do it from woe to go. Uh, by the end of it, I could knock it over in about 12 and a half minutes. And so, what I ended up doing was I probably did the tool 4 to 6 times a day because I had the time to do so. You would, of course, adapt it. So, some take-home key points, if you like, from the approach that I took is that, number one, I recognised that any manifestation process requires a person to remain calm. And I'm going to keep repeating this because if you are emotionally reactive, then it acts as a barrier to the manifestation process. The second thing is I approached my task with diligence and I pushed on. I scheduled things daily, like the job hunting and the CVs, and house hunting, actually. I recognised that I need to keep myself informed of things like rental rates so that once I had the money coming in, I could make wise financial decisions and not knee jerk reactions. And I had also recognised that part of this manifestation process was the doing the actions that needed to be done daily, then setting it down, letting it go, and let the universe take care of it. Right? I had to be ready to act upon my intuition and guidance, but I couldn't, and none of us, when we're in a crisis, can afford to be blocking a manifestation process because we're just so stressed out and anxious. Now, also the reminder here that we can make a conscious choice to change or to create change in our lives, but change always is accompanied by actions. It doesn't happen by itself. So I also knew that when my brother and his wife returned home, I would need to be ready to move out of their house. I had 4 weeks to manifest. Um, so what I did was, in between using the tool, and I would, um, as I said, I think I said it anyway, I used to do it about 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 times a day because I wasn't working. I had a lot of time on my hands. But anyway, in between using the tool, I would do things that actively kept me focused on positive things. So that could be jumping on a push bike. There was an exercise bike there. I'd do that for half an hour. Um, I would meditate perhaps for half an hour, but not allow myself to get into a position of being ungrounded. I would do the little affirmations in between, saying, here's a good one for you. I give thanks for the divine job that is mine under grace right now. Okay, that was one of them because I was attempting to manifest a miracle. Anyway, other things that I did was I included crystal therapy because I was in almost a panic attack and I was really trying to use a lot of discipline and self-control. So I would carry blue kyanite and selenite as part of the calming the farm and this ongoing purification of my mind, body, and spirit. So, as I said, at the time I developed the tool and I was going through this crisis, it actually took, I think my brother was due back, as I said, about 4 weeks after the fact. And I think I was advised of a start date for a new job about 4 days before he came back. And then my uplift date, because it was actually a fly in, fly out role. Then I was uplifted about 2 days after he returned. So it actually worked out absolutely perfectly and better than I could have ever dreamed of. So that's my personal feedback of the tool. Much later on, and a number of years later, I'd created the Facebook group Real Psychics, Mediums and Healers. So I met a number of people who actually were at the wall in their own lives. And so I had opportunity to share this tool with people. And at that stage, it was a PowerPoint presentation. So this decision was because people were asking for readings and expecting magic solutions, and they forgot that the magic includes affirmative actions on their part. We can all wave a magic wand and send some healing to help bring peace to them, but lasting peace involves personal commitment. So, long story short, I sent the tool around the world to people in different situations and circumstances, and what I said to them is exactly what I say to you now: is that I don't know if this is going to work for you. I don't know if you will receive benefit from this particular tool. It's not going to do any harm. All I know is that once a person has reached the place that I did and the place that you might be if you're watching this video, then there's nothing to be lost. So I just said to all of them, and I say to you, give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. Um, if it works for you, that would be wonderful. Please do leave feedback and let other people know. It's very emotionally heartwarming to know that people can benefit from the things that I do. But anyway, one really good example that stays in my mind of positive feedback was this lady was in either Serbia or Bosnia, and it was after the war, and she was experiencing horrendous hardship. And I sent her the tool and let it go. Well, she contacted me later and she said that, I hope you don't mind, but I just want to let you know that I translated your tool into my language and I gave it to my grandmother to use. Her elderly grandmother had been really struggling, understandably. Anyway, what I was informed of was that her grandmother had said that she wished she had found the tool many years ago because it was able to lead her to that space of having internal peace again, which obviously through a war, she hadn't known it for a while. So I say, look, if it doesn't do anything much except give you a bit of peace during difficult times, well, that's something, and other feedback. Actually, I'm just looking at some of the notes that I've got here to remind me. Other feedback that I've had is one person contacted me to say that, and I didn't know this before I gave them the tool, they were apparently struggling with addiction, like amphetamine use, and they had been able to stop using after starting on this tool. Another person, in fact, more than one, have contacted me to say that once they started on this particular tool, if you like, because I don't know what to call it, that they'd actually given up smoking. So I would ask you, if you feel that you're in a crisis, use the tool. Have an open mind. It may or may not work for you. It's not going to do any harm, but if it does work and you notice positive and obvious changes, please do come back and let us know. Write your comments on the wall. We'd love to hear. Thank you. So I'm going to read this next bit because it's important, I think, that I convey this information to you, and I hope it's not too mechanical on the sound, right? So I'm going to start right now. The tool in its current state, which you're viewing right now, is not the same tool I created for myself, right? Everyone is unique and they have their own comfort levels, and the tool, I believe, needs to be perfect for you, and you need to be comfortable using it. You can use it in its current format. It's not going to be a problem for you at all, except it's going to be really long, actually. So I would advise you to modify it. But anyway, back to reading it. So what I have created is a number of slides with affirmations on them related to the chakras and to the colors. And I suggest that you watch the slides and write down the affirmations that resonate with you in advance. You can, as just stated, by all means use the affirmations in their entirety on the slide, but heck, if you are to use it like that, you might be spending 3 or 4 hours a day in front of your computer. That's just not viable or practical for most people. My suggestion is that you cherry pick the affirmations that resonate with you, the ones that feel right to you. And as an example of how you can adapt these affirmations, if there's things that you're uncomfortable with, like words of God or creator, then you can use different names that are associated with that have meaning for you. So simply exchange the word, perhaps if God is not your word, change it for Goddess if that's what you like. Swap it for Jesus if you're a Christian. Swap it for Allah if you're a Muslim. Shiva, all that I am is another one. Some people refer to the higher self. So this is about you being comfortable, right? Some of the aspects of the tool you might just stick with, even though you don't have a fixed belief. And I encourage that because an open mind goes a long way. And by this, I am kind of referring to things like the celestial or angelic chakra. Not everybody's into angels, not everybody believes in them. You can skip it if you want. Frankly, I recommend you use it again. Of course, it's a recommendation. Um, and I also recommend, in fact, I more than recommend, I, if I could, if I had the power, I would say I insist that when you do this tool, that you actually do it from the red chakra through to the top in one hit. If you have to step away to go and answer the phone, in fact, turn your phone off before you do it. But if you have to step away mid-cycle for any reason, come back and start at that slide and continue through to the crown. Because if you don't, you might find that your energy wheels get out of whack. Okay? Just a word of caution there. Because the chakra wheels all need to work independently well and collectively. So before we go further, let's do a little reminder here of the intention that is behind this energy work that we're going to do. It's about embracing your personal and individual power and your internal perfect and divine balance. And being a powerful person doesn't mean powering over the top of people. being powerful is a willingness to power share. And if you're being arrogant, or if you find yourself being arrogant and standing over people and attempting to dictate to them what they should and shouldn't do, then this is actually bullying behavior. So when we're balanced, we also don't consider ourselves to be superior to others. And a better description, and I'm sorry for, I do that lip smacking a lot. A better description of power would be that it has a quiet confidence and a level of humility, because it recognizes that there is no I in the word team, and that the world is a team of people all seeking to work interactively with each other whilst being true to who they are, that authentic individual self expression. So, the other thing with balance, because obviously it's a multi layered word, it's about feeling centered and calm and non reactive. And on the earth plane, there is a need for practical application of wisdom. What this means is if you're off with the fairies, then you might be avoiding your earthly responsibilities. And if you find yourself after using the tool a bit airheaded, bit lightheaded, um, then it's time to go and ground and center yourself. And you can do this by walking into the garden barefoot. That's just a simple way of doing it. Or leaning up against a tree, holding one hand against the tree and just breathing, doing the sacred breath against the tree. That's one technique. You will find other strategies for grounding and centering in the near future on the channel, but they're not loaded yet. So, the other thing is, being a powerful person doesn't involve running away from responsibilities and chores. So important. Spirit's not about escapism and avoidance, it's about actual participation and actualization. But anyway, now let's have a talk about why this tool is so powerful, and you can learn more tips about using it during the process. So, based on what I've been telling you, this tool kind of acts like a bit of a laser thing. It just moves very quickly, very efficiently. But if you've got a lot of problems, all problems, it's kind of unpacking one step at a time, but it really fast tracks it. Now, I believe that it is as beneficial as it is because it draws in the power across multiple layers. It's the power of the tool is with the affirmation, the spoken word, the respect to the universal laws of gratitude, affirmation, and willpower. And it's accompanied by the healing power of sound and color while drawing on the sacred breath, right? There really isn't much that's been missed in this tool. It's all included in this. Concepts of healing with sound actually go way back to at least Pythagoras, 525 BC. And it's because sound is believed to carry vibration, and clearly I believe that, and to activate the healing of the chakras. Now, in the original tool that I created, I did use music specifically designed for chakra toning, but I don't own the copyright for that music. And quite frankly, the solfeggio binaural beats are equally good from a healing perspective, and perhaps even better than what I had in the past. And as I said before, I'll pop a link to the Solfeggio channel into the content description. So, in regard to the power of affirmations, an affirmation is a universal statement, and the universe will comply with whatever it is that we're stating or asking for. So, bear in mind when you make your affirmations, if you decide to use different ones, there is what is referred to as universal hearing. And so we need to be mindful about what it is that we're creating. So, for example, if I was to say, I wish my life was easier, the energy of that statement implies that life is hard and I like it hard because, I carry that energy of I need things to be easier. So the universe will comply with that and keep giving us difficult challenges to cope with, which is pretty difficult sometimes. If I tell myself and everybody else that I'm a horrible person, I'm so bad, whatever, right, then I'm affirming and making a statement not only to the universe, but to my own inner voice speak. And they will continue to cement the belief that I'm a bad person until I change the way I speak about myself. It can start with a thought, but the speech is what will make things happen quicker. So that's where vocal words come into it. Um, I'm just having a look at other tips that I've got here. You would, for something like I'm horrible, if that's your self talk, ideally you would replace that one immediately that you catch yourself in that speech, you would cut yourself off and replace it with, I am willing to see the beauty of my own soul. I am, right? That would be an affirmation, and say it with conviction, right? Now, where it can be difficult is if a belief is created because you're having to share a home environment with somebody who's continually telling you negative, unpleasant things, right? I need to stop saying the word right, don't I? I'm so sorry about that. There would be options for addressing that. One of the options might be to have a little affirmation space where you affirm to the universe, I am open to having a home surrounded by people who see and love me for my beautiful self I am. That might be one of them. What's another one? Oh, I just need to remind you, you've got to do with this kind of thing, you've got to put the I am at the front and I am at the bottom of the sentence or the statement, right? Always affirm in the positive. The other tip is it's better to use simple sentences or statements. However, within this tool, you're going to see a variety. So some of what I'm saying right now is a little bit repetitive. That's not so bad because hopefully I'm instilling the meaning of what it is that I'm talking about. So affirmations work better when they are spoken aloud and in your own voice. There is a power in the spoken word, right? The other thing is when you are doing affirmations, the other important factor is that if you use your own voice to do the words, as opposed to me talking all the way through it and my voice imprinting, what you do by using your own voice is you're actually going to imprint your new thoughts and your new voice or your new affirmations and beliefs onto your brain. So it's going to work quicker for you than if we use my voice. So it's best to use your own one, is where I'm going. However, that being said, what I will do, and you're going to see it shortly, is I'm going to do an example of affirmations. There'll be a slide for that. And I will also do a slide example on how to do the sacred breath and breathe in the colors. But that's coming up. And then after that, then you're on your own with it, okay? So, most people who know anything or who have heard anything about chakras and auras often hear the word vibration used. Now, vibration, in the simplest explanation, translates to chakras and auras are made up of invisibly moving particles that can't be seen by the naked eye. Similar, I guess, in some ways to cells or the DNA, right? Now, having said that, just as a little throw in there, it is actually possible to see the auras of trees and objects with your naked eye, but that's content for another video. Now, for those people that are a bit skeptical and go like, oh, whatever, all right, just remember, if you've gone to school and you've studied maths or you've looked at the sun and you've thought, wow, that looks like a round ball, or if you think that the earth is round, hello, you're actually believing stuff that Pythagoras taught. Pythagoras also taught about vibration of sound and color. But anyway, back to the chakras. I'll just find my place. Right. So in this tool, we refer to the vibration of color because what happens is the chakras, as I said, they've got their vibration, speed of movement. The aura's got speed of movement. They all use color. The color's got speed of movement. And somehow or other, and I'm no scientist, so I don't want to sound like an expert on this, but this is my understanding, is that through the use of color, we can actually alter the rate of vibration of the chakras and the aura, and for better or worse, actually. I say worse, but there actually is no worse. It's just that if you were to say start at the top chakra at your head and work your way down and then not get around to doing your base chakras, then basically what you're doing is you're building your house from the ceiling down, and it's not a very stable, it's a bit rocky thing. And that will actually happen to your personality and your emotions as well. And I've tried it, I tested it, you're welcome to give it a go. It definitely does impact on your mood. Anyway, back to how we use color in this tool, right? When at the end of each set of slides, because each set has got affirmations on it, and then there is a space of coloured slides with no affirmations. It's just writing. This is for the healing with colour bit. What you do is you squint your eyes at the coloured screen and then you do your breathing. So you allow your eyes to go a little bit blurry. And when you're doing the sacred breath, then you're breathing the colour into your entire being. And that's the healing with the colour. Just another useful tidbit before we move on. In an ideal world, if we're talking about balance within ourselves or the internal balance, the yellow chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra, is actually considered to be the centered place that's standing in our power as well. I'm not sure how else to describe that, but the yellow chakra does have a big role. You'll learn about that more in my chakra tutorials if you subscribe and like. Before we go any further, let's talk about the sacred breath in a very basic way. Sacred breathing is referred to as pranic breathing, and prana is considered to be the breath of life or the life force. Now, there is a technique to doing it, and it does require some control and discipline. And just to be clear, I am a big believer in intention. So while I can give you the instructions on how to do sacred breath, if you find it too difficult, don't stress about it, because if you're straining, it's not good. Okay, best to do what is comfortable. The universe will respond anyway. And the difference between the sacred breath and other types of breathing is that the sacred breath, and you'll understand this more in a moment, works on a breath count to about 7, and things like box breathing work on a breath count of 4. If you have a health condition and limited breath, we don't want to see you pass out, okay? We don't even want to hear about it. We just want to know that you're doing it as comfortably and as best you can. And if they're small little breaths, you do your small little breaths, okay? The more we do any exercise anyway, including these lung exercises, you will improve. Anyway, I will put a link on in the content as well, because I've got a short video on how to do breathing or breath work for stress. Almost left then. The video is called Breath Work for Stress Management, as I recall, but I'll put in a link for that as well, just to give you a little bit of extra help. So as previously stated, we've got sets of coloured slides for each chakra. And on the slides where you do the breathing exercises, they have the colour with the lotus image on them. So when you see these slides start, this is when you squint your eyes at the screen and allow your vision to blur. And then you breathe into the count of 3. I say 3 for this part of the video just as an example. Breathe in for 3. If you can do 7, do 7, even better. And as you're breathing in, imagine the color that you're seeing before your eyes entering and merging with your in breath and going deep down into your abdomen so that your body can disperse it within your body wherever it needs to go. You hold that inward breath for the same count. So if you're breathing to the cycle of 3, 1, 2, 3, hold it for 3, and then exhale for 3, and then hold the empty space for 3 as well. We'll do a practice run in a moment. It's pretty exciting. We're almost there. I am like the tree with my roots firmly planted on the earth from my feet and my arms like branches reaching to the heavens. I am divinely connected to the earth. I am a caretaker of the earth, and Mother Earth takes care of me. I am a healing vessel. I am nourished by the earth. I am a nourisher of the earth. I am. So apparently I can't talk and breathe at the same time. So what I'm going to do is remind you of the process, which is you breathe in through the nose, you exhale out the mouth. You breathe into a count, you hold the full breath in your lungs, you breathe that colour deep down into yourself, you hold that for a count, you exhale for a count, then you hold the empty space for a count. But you start off by looking at the coloured screen, squinting your eyes a little bit, allow them to hood, allow them to blur, your vision gets a bit blurred, and then when you take in that inward breath, deep down into your diaphragm, your stomach will kind of push out a little bit, you hold that breath to the count, so Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth 2, 3, 4. Hold the empty space 2, 3, 4. Then in through the nose again. And you just visualize that whole color going through your body and distributed to the areas that it needs to go. So, anyway, we'll kick on. We'll give it a crack now and see what happens. I am like the tree with my roots firmly planted on the earth. From my feet and my arms are like branches reaching to the heavens. I am. I am divinely connected to the earth. I am. I am a caretaker of the earth, and Mother Earth takes care of me. I am. I am a healing vessel. I am. I am nourished by the earth. I am. I am a nourisher of the earth. I am. So well done, folks. Thanks for hanging in there. You're now ready to start the sequence of chakra clearing. And just a reminder that you can play the full length video or you can play the individual chakra videos. However, I don't recommend that you limiting or restricting yourself to one chakra only. You should actually follow the sequence. And I've put links in the description to make it easier for you. The reason for that is that you could end up creating an energetic imbalance for yourself if you, say, start at the crown and then work your way down. That can make you a little bit psychologically lacking in stability, for want of a better word. So you're always much better to start with the earth one, move your way up, and then repeat the cycle as many times a day as you need. Feel free to leave a comment in the comments. Love to hear your feedback, and also just the reminder that from a safety perspective, do not do these videos. Well, obviously you can't drive and do a video at the same time, but even with the music, the tunes are not recommended for people that are driving or operating machinery. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. Take care. Good luck.